According to a recent cost of care survey, it costs $288,000 per year to get your parent 24/7 care in their home. But my family and thousands of other families are using a simple strategy to cut those costs by as much as 80%. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a 5-step framework that you can use to keep your parent in their home and save tens of thousands of dollars over the course of their care. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Ethan Carvo, and I love helping families learn about caregiving. It's what I'm totally passionate about. My goal for this channel is to help you by giving you good information so that you can make good decisions for your family. But I should let you know that I'm not a lawyer, so please use this video for informational and educational purposes only, and consult with an elder lawyer before you implement any of these strategies. Now, with that said, let's jump into the video. Okay, step 1 of this strategy is to find a caregiver. Now, a lot of families are told and convinced that they need to use an agency in order to find good, reliable help. But we've already talked about on this channel how there are 2 major problems with agencies that make them really expensive. First, agencies have to think about their marketing budget and their overhead costs. So usually you're spending about 25% more on care than if you had been able to cut out the middleman. The second thing is that a lot of care agencies are incentivized to push for 24/7 care, meaning you have an awake nurse in your parents' home watching them while they sleep. Now, that sounds really secure, but it's really expensive and often unnecessary. So our goal for this strategy is to cut out the middleman and work with someone who will give us what we need without anything extra. The main premise of this strategy is that rather than using an expensive care agency, you can do the hiring and hire your own private caregiver. Now, in order to find a good private caregiver, you have 2 basic routes. The first is that you can use premium databases like care.com, which is about $40 per month, or you can save some money and use local Facebook groups or Nextdoor. Both are really good options and can give you solid leads. Depending on who you are, this could be the fun part. This is where you step into that employer role for the first time, which for a lot of people, they've never been an employer before. You start looking around, you start to meet people. It can be really exciting. Now, as you do your research, there's one thing that I want you to be watchful for. A lot of people will be asking to be paid in cash. Now, this can be tempting because you'll save some money, but don't. It adds a ton of liability to you. When you start interacting with people, let them know that you'll be hiring specifically as a W-2 household employer with tax withholdings. If they say that doesn't work for them, that's totally fine. Thank them for their time and move on. We need someone who will work with us. Your goal for this phase is to find someone who will fit exactly into your system that you're building, and that's one that maximizes savings and minimizes risk. Once you've found a good candidate, the next step of this strategy is to thoroughly vet them. For this phase, our goal is to give them a deep background check. Now, I emphasize the word deep background check because the problem I see a lot of people have with this step is that they default to going on Google, typing in background check online, clicking the top link, and they get a report back that only searched the national databases. The problem with the national databases is that they are full of holes and blind spots. So because we want to be thorough, it's our parents' safety on the line after all, and we're giving them the key to our house, we need to be much more thorough than this. And the way to do that is doing a county level background check for everywhere that they've lived in the last 7 years. That might sound like a lot, and to be fair, maybe it is, but it's a lot more thorough even if it takes a little bit longer. So there are some really good resources out there. I recommend Good Hire and Checker. That's check with an R. They can help you with a lot of this and make it pretty simple for you as long as you know which counties you're searching for. So make sure that you're asking for that information during the interview process. While you wait for the background check to clear, remember to call their references. Verify their experience, especially if your parent has complex issues like dementia. This is also a great time to introduce your parent to the caregiver. Because caregiving is such an intimate thing, it is very important that your parent is comfortable with and gets along well with the caregiver that you're selecting. Step 3 of this strategy is super important to pay attention to because it's where a lot of families make their biggest financial mistake. So you've got a caregiver lined up and now you need a way to pay them. Like I said in step 1, paying in cash is a total no-go. And the reason for this is because as soon as you pay your caregiver over $2,700 in a year, you are officially classified by the federal government as an employer. So that's pretty exciting, but it also means that if you don't have the right paperwork, it means that you are committing tax evasion. Fortunately, having the right paperwork is actually easier than it sounds. All you need to do is hire a household payroll system like Poppins Pay or Care.com Home Pay, and these kind of act as your own personal HR department. They will do all of the IRS filings and tax withholdings for you so that you don't have to think about it. Next, you'll want to make a contract for them to sign, and I highly recommend that you do this with the help of an elder lawyer. There's a lot that can go wrong in caregiving, so you want to make sure that you are as legally covered as possible as their employer. So enlist the help of an elder lawyer. I know that they might seem expensive, but in the long run and for the peace of mind, it is totally worth it to find someone who knows what they're doing to help you with the contract. Another thing to consider is that when you're listing out the specific care duties of your caregiver, it's really important that you check your state's specific regulations. This is because some states are very regulated and some states are less regulated, but how your state is regulated totally changes what you're allowed to ask your caregiver to do. For example, in some highly regulated states, it is illegal for private caregivers who are non-medically certified to dispense medication. They're allowed to offer reminders, but they aren't allowed to dispense. So it's really important that you're making sure that you don't ask your caregiver to do something that they're not legally allowed to do, and that's just safer for everyone involved. Now you have a high quality caregiver that's also very vetted, and they're on the payroll with a solid contract in place. So we're ready to move on to step 4. We're almost done with the setup, but there's one more big liability that we need to fix. What happens if the caregiver slips and falls in the bathroom? Or what happens if they get in a car accident while they're helping your parent? A lot of people will assume that their standard homeowner's insurance will cover it, but for most standard policies, they explicitly exclude employees. So if your caregiver gets hurt on the job, you will be the one who is personally liable for it. That's pretty good information to know ahead of time if you ask me. To fix this big liability, you need a standalone workers' compensation policy. To get one, I recommend that you start by asking the insurance company who's giving you your homeowner's insurance. That way you might be able to bundle with them and save some money. But not all insurance companies offer this, so they might not be able to help you. The easiest path is to use the brokerage service in whatever payroll app you're using, like Care.com Home Pay. Now, I can't give you a great estimate on what workers' compensation will cost you because it depends a lot on the state that you're in. In some states, it's as little as $300, and in some states, it's $1,200 or more. It just depends on where you're living. Another thing that you need to be watching out for is something called vicarious liability. So if your caregiver is out driving errands or taking your parent to the pharmacy and they get in an accident, the victim of that accident could actually sue you as the employer. To protect against this, you need to call your insurance agency and have them add something called an HNOA, that's Hired Non-Owned Auto Endorsement, to your policy. This is about $100 to $200 per year, but it's totally worth it for the peace of mind. I highly recommend it. Moving on to step 5, the final step. All the setup is done. You are fully an employer now. You have a caregiver who's taking care of your parents at much better rates. This is where it really gets beautiful because all we have to do now is think about maintenance, and that should only take about 5 minutes per week to do. From here on out, it's basically just a 2-step process. All you have to do is at the end of each week, contact the caregiver, have them send you their hours, and then your job is to put those hours into the payroll system. And that's it. The rest is up to the payroll system, and it will do everything automatically for you. It will take the money out of your parents' account, directly deposit it into the caregiver's account, and then it will do all the filings and the tax stuff all behind the scenes so that you don't have to worry about it. And then it's pretty much easy from that point on. You just have to maintain like this for as long as you have the caregiver. Beyond this, your only other job is to be a good boss, which you are now. You're a boss to this caregiver, which is pretty cool. So you want to make sure that you are contacting them regularly and making sure that they have everything that they need to give good high quality care. You also want to be planning ahead for how you want to handle holidays and time off and sick days, and just generally make sure that they're taken care of. As a personal note, I want to add that caregiving is a really demanding job, and they're doing it for someone that you love and opening up space for you to be the son and daughter more than if you had to be taking care of your parent. So it's really important that you honor this person and show your appreciation for them often so that they can see the value of what they're doing. Taking on this responsibility and hiring your own private caregiver can seem intimidating, but thousands of families are really doing this every year, and so can you. You are totally capable of doing this, and it could save you tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of their need for care. But even if you decide that this strategy isn't what your family needs, that's totally cool as well. I just want to say that by being here, by watching this video, by researching this kind of thing on behalf of your parents, wanting to help them, they are so lucky to have you in their corner. I just want to celebrate that with you and say good job, and I'm so glad that you're here. But that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please consider doing me one favor. Please share this video with someone else in your life who might find it useful. It really helps out them, giving them good information, and it really helps out the channel. Thank you again so much for watching. My name is Ethan Carbo, and I'll see you in the next one.